What's up guys, it's Dekkster here, and I want to talk about top decks of the month for October for Gen Legend, just going over some statistics provided by Vicious Syndicate. Now this does kind of come at a weird time because there was a patch that is kind of announced where they're going to be moving 23 cards from Wild into Standard. So there's going to be an injection of cards and it's going to totally shake up the meta, and we're not 100% sure when those are coming out, and I think by later on today they're going to kind of announce what those 23 cards are. So yeah, it's a little bit weird, so I can't really advise crafting anything this close to knowing that the injection's gonna happen, so definitely be careful. And we're probably gonna find out more on October 4th, which again is when this video is scheduled to come out because I'm making it the night before. So let's jump into some stats. But before I actually do that, I do want to thank our sponsor for this video, which is Playvig. So Playvig is a program where you earn Playvig coins as you play any game. Like it could be Hearthstone, it could be League of Legends, it could be whatever you're into, and you use those coins to buy rewards, which could be like PayPal credits or a wide variety of things. Now Playvig has already awarded over $1 million in prizes, and they've also implemented these universal leaderboards where they're giving away over 1 million Playvig coins each week. Now these leaderboards are really cool. Playvig has a point system that weighs all the supported games equally. It doesn't matter if you're playing Overwatch or Fortnite or League or Hearthstone. Seems like a really cool way to compete against your friends. So there are a few really cool leaderboards that you should keep your eye out for. We got the Weekend Warrior Universal Leaderboard, which happens once a week, where you get 1 million coins. We got the Weekday Warriors, which there are 2 a week, and they give you 500,000 coins. So if you want free stuff, be sure to check out Playvig. I'll link them in the description below. And thank you again so much to Playvig for sponsoring this video. Let's jump into class archetype distribution. Now, if we look at all ranks here, we could see that, my god, it's mostly Shaman, which is a little different from last month where it was mostly just Hunter and Priest and a little bit of Warrior. Like we're seeing some Druid as well, right? Now it's just mostly Shaman. This is insane. So much Quest Shaman, so much Highlander Hunter, and so much Combo Priest. If we look at ranks 4 to 1, once again, even more Shaman followed by Hunter and Priest. And if we go to Legend, the Priest kind of spikes up above Hunter because Combo Priest is still so good, but Shaman still taking the lead. Shaman the most popular, who would have thought? And with the wild cards coming in, it seems like Shaman's gonna get even better. So maybe it's kind of a safe bet to make Shaman right now, even this close to the injection of wild cards, but I definitely consider waiting still. So looking at class frequency by week, it's a little bit messy, so let's look at by day actually, and we can see once again, just reinforcing what we said previously, Shaman is climbing really high, Hunter remains pretty steady and still very popular, followed by Priest. Then we got, what is that, Warrior, because of Aggro Warrior, come into the limelight here, and then Paladin, which seems to mostly be OTK Paladin, at least for me right now, and then Druid, which has taken a little bit of hit in its popularity. Rogue picking up a little bit of steam because Quest Rogue is actually pretty good. And then the 2 worst classes here, Hunter and Warlock. Now Warlock has kind of been the least popular class for the duration of the expansion, but you could see Mage was really good, and then once that patch hit, you can see that steep decline in their play, and they've never really recovered since then. Hopefully with the injection of wild cards, Mage can do a little bit better, at least not suck so much. Looking at matchup win rates, green means it's a good matchup, red means it's a bad matchup, so the more green in your line, the better. Highlander Hunter, obviously a ton of good matchups there, just gonna struggle against Res Priest, Murloc Paladin, and Quest Druid, and you're not seeing a lot of those, so it's probably a good time to go with Highlander Hunter. Another deck that doesn't seem to have too many polarizing matchups would be like Aggro Warrior down at the bottom there, mostly green, a few, pale reds, and the worst matchup being Control Warrior, but I'm not seeing too many Control Warriors, so maybe Aggro Warrior would be your cup of tea if you don't want to see anything too polarized. All right, looking at power rankings here, at all ranks, tier 1, we got Highlander Hunter, Combo Priest, and Aggro Warrior, and then really close, Murloc Paladin, Aggro Shaman, and Murloc Shaman. Let's look at ranks 4 to 1, we got Highlander Hunter again, Combo Priest, and Aggro Warrior. Looks exactly the same, but at the top of tier 2, instead we got Aggro Shaman here, which seems to be based off Jambre's build. I think it actually is is Jambre's build. Let's look at Legend, and we got Highlander Hunter, Combo Priest, and Aggro Warrior again. So my god, if you just want the best deck from rank 25 to Legend, just take Highlander Hunter, Combo Priest, or Aggro Warrior. And if you have any of these and you're just looking for a great deck to grind at least until these wild cards come in, just stick with one of those. I think the most budget one is going to be Combo Priest because it's just running a Met. You don't really need Bwansamdi, like he helps and he's in the better lists, but you don't really need Bwansamdi. We got Metascore here, and I love looking at the Metascore charts. Further on the x-axis, further to the right is how powerful the deck is. Further on the y-axis, the higher up, the more frequent you're going to be seeing the deck. So you can see Quest Shaman, very, very popular, way at the top, but not too far to the right, not the strongest deck. Combo Priest seems to be the strongest deck, right below Highlander Hunter, which is that green dot, and those are both a little less frequent. So once again, my favorite thing to do here is look at that bottom right deck and play it a lot, because no one's gonna see too much of it. I like playing relatively off meta, and those decks are gonna perform well. So what I would choose here is probably Aggro Shaman and just jam out a few games, and the strength of the deck is probably gonna impress you. So I'm gonna jump into each class and kind of just go over the one deck that catches my attention the most. If you want to see more archetypes, be sure to check out Vicious Syndicate in the description below, where they'll have a ton more detail. Shaman, the most popular, you know, there's Quest Shaman, there's Aggro Shaman, there's Murloc Shaman, and you guys, I'm sure you're seeing a ton of Quest Shaman. I was playing today and on stream, probably played 20-30 games, and I think I saw at least 50% Quest Shaman, and it was kind of annoying. The deck is so strong. It is a lot of fun to play, but what I'm gonna talk about here is Jambre's Overload Mutate Shaman, which he did hit rank 1 Legend with, and this deck it's kind of nuts. He kind of just cuts the battle cry package and just goes for straight value here. You know, you got those crazy turns where you go like former champ and you mutate your dude. You can do an Underbelly Angler and pop off with some Murlocs, since we have Mermies and Slurpers. We got Thunderhead and a nice overload package with Zap and Lightning Bolt and the Slurpers. The Lickum, because it's usually going to be activated, and on top of that, even more overload synergy with Vicina, who works as a mini Bloodlust. On top of that, we got the normal Bloodlusts, Stormbringer, because we have so many tokens through, like, you know, of course, all those small minions, but also Voltaic Burst, Underhead summoning those tokens on top of that. So Stormbringer usually going to get you some sick value. Flesh Shaper, actually just like a sleeper card of the set. This thing has been performing so nicely. I don't know how many people kind of expected that, but nothing feels better than getting like a 2 or 3 mana 8-drop by going, you know, Flesh Shaper when there's a lot of minions on the board, getting that value trade, and then hitting it with the Mutate. So this deck is absolutely nuts. If you haven't tried it out, be sure to try it out. Probably one of the better decks out there right now. And it's also a fresh deck, you know, kind of just getting discovered this late into the expansion. It's not a common thing. So let's look at Priest. Now there's Combo Priest and there's Res Priest, and the most popular Res Priest is Zetalot's Res Priest. I have a Bwansamdi Priest, which is a lot of fun, but I haven't hit top 25 Legend like Zetalot has. So looking at Zetalot's list, this is really cool. You know, you got some early game removal through Penance and your Forbidden Words. You got Death if something gets a little bit out of hand. And then you have all these strong minions that you're gonna get a ton of value off with your Infiltrator, your Water Bearers, your Kartuts, the Batterhead, and your Katrina. And on top of that, you know, maybe you play an Infiltrator and they kill it, and then you Cycle Pomp it and you bring it back, and it's gonna have Reborn, which means it's gonna not only absorb some damage and some hits, but it's also gonna kill a couple minions due to that super strong Death Rattle. Now don't forget that this is a Quest Priest, and that means you're in for a good time. One of my favorite things to do once you've completed the quest is to throw down a Batterhead and buff it up, and you just have this huge Batterhead that just clears everything on your opponent's side of the board. It's so difficult to deal with. It does have that high health total, and sometimes that alone can just win games. I love Res Priest. I love this list. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but yeah, it's one of my favorite lists in the game right now. Hunter, another class that's doing really, really well right now. We got Subject 9 Highlander Hunter. We got a standard Mech Hunter, which not a lot of people are playing anymore because it's kind of boring and it's from last expansion. We got the Hogseed Mid-Range Hunter, but what I'm going to talk about is Quest Hunter. And I keep recommending this deck to people who want something that's a bit off meta but does really, really well, because I do think this is a bit of a sleeper still. I got a few videos on it if you want to watch. I love this deck. I don't know who expected Vault Hunter to be this good, but it's really easy to complete your quests because you have so many things. You know, you got 2 Unleash the Hounds, you got 2 Swarm of Locusts, and then on top of that you have some heavy cycle with the Cult Master. Boom Master Flark is just genius because you summon 5 things, which is 25% 100% of your quests. So usually by the time you get to play Flark, you've kind of completed your quests, and then you just turn all those bombs into 2/2s that also have that sick death rattle. Then at this point, your opponent is kind of got a lot of pressure on them, because if they end up making a board, you can unleash the hounds, press a button, and kill them. And if they don't clear your board and develop their own board, you're just gonna beat them with a bunch of 1 health minions. So really liking this list a lot. I think the one I played in my YouTube is a bit more budget friendly, but this seems to be the best list, at least per Vicious Syndicate. All right, for Warrior, we got Control Warrior, there's Bomb Warriors out there, and then there's Aggro Warrior, and I think the most exciting Aggro Warrior list out there is going to be Highlander Aggro Warrior. Now, to me, you know, I just like the wackier decks, and this one actually performs well, and it's wacky, so I like this one a lot. I mean, it's running Octosari, which is a really good time, and it's running Zephyrus, which is the only perk of running Highlander, really, because Warrior doesn't have anything like a Bran or an Elise. But it seems like Zephyrus is really enough to kind of warrant running a Highlander Warrior deck, which may be surprising, but it's just try it out if you have the cards. Once again, don't craft this. This is super expensive, and it's got a niche legendary, which is Darius, but it really doesn't have that many niche legendaries. Maybe you already got Zephyrus and Snip Snap and Leroy, Ziliax, Siamat. Those all seem to be in a lot of people's collection. Octosari, maybe not a lot of people got Octosari. But yeah, this deck just gets insane tempo. Bloodsworn Mercenary is very good. Just landing a duplication on almost any of your cards is insane, especially if you hit them with a Rampage before. Using Sandbinder here to pull out your Zephyrus, pull out your Siamat, and then of course Octosari drawing a ton of cards. I love this list. It's a lot of fun. Definitely not as consistent as the normal Arcanite Reaper Aggro Warrior, but this one's got a lot more flavor. For Druid, it just seems like it's just Quest Druid. Like, I've played a couple token Druids, but they don't seem to be doing that great right now, especially because there's so much Quest Shaman on the ladder, and when they play the Sandstorm, they go Battlecry Sandstorm, it's just gonna clear your board, and it's so mana efficient for them. So you spending 8 mana and getting your twin spell out there for 5 2/2s, like, that's great and all, but as soon as they just press the hero power and Sandstorm, they've almost won the game because they just destroyed your whole turn, plus they develop a huge board. So it seems like Quest Druid is really your only option for right now. Now there's an Elise Quest Druid, but the one that seems to be doing a little bit better is Phaoris Quest Druid. It's really easy to complete your quest. Obviously, you just got a few slow turns in the beginning, and then this just becomes incredibly consistent. The Russians, the Oasis Surgers, are absolutely nutty. You know, 5 mana for 10/10 worth of stats. And then you got Phaoris, and you got all those big spells in your hand between Nourish, Hidden Oasis, Starfall. You know, swipe 4 mana minion is no joke. So you throw Phaoris out there, you make a huge board. They deal with it, and you can Nomi out there, hopefully. Maybe they deal with Nomi, then you can floop that. But at any point they don't deal with your board, you hit it with a Cenarius, which is pretty dang massive. And then don't forget you got Floop there, so you can Cenarius and then follow up with a Floop that is another Cenarius, and just destroy your opponent. So if you're wanting to play Druid, this is probably your best bet. I'm really hoping that the new meta will shake Druid up quite a bit, because I feel like it's getting a little bit boring. So for Paladin, we got Murloc Paladin, which is tipped the scales. We got Quest Paladin, which isn't too prominent right now. Holy Wrath Paladin and Highlander Paladin, and Holy Wrath Paladin seems to be the best one right now. I've actually been seeing a lot of this on ladder, and it's very strong. It's a little bit difficult to pilot. A lot of people, it's hard for them to pick it up, but that makes it a lot of fun. It has a playstyle very similar to Freeze Mage, where you're just constantly delaying your opponent, and then you just you bazooka them down with your Holy Wraths. So it's a lot of fun for me, at least, with like the card management, the knowing when to cycle most efficiently, knowing when to be greedy and save your board clears, and overall just a great list. The inclusion of Zephyrus here is really nice because he's so flexible and you cycle through your deck so easily. By the time you get to 5-10 cards left in your deck, you're often going to have a Highlander deck, and you're going to be able to get value out of that Zephyrus. Maybe it's a Nether, maybe it's a Frost Nova. It's just so nice having that flexibility. All right, so for Rogue, we got standard Aggro Rogue, and they got yjAwtAVl's Quest Rogue, and yjAwtAVl has been killing it with this. I think he actually hit rank 2 legend today with this. And I've been a huge advocate of Quest Rogue for quite a while because yjAwtAVl is always killing it, and it's a lot of fun, and for some reason not many people are playing it. I think he actually did change this list a little. Vicious Syndicate is pushing the list with the Lab Recruiter, but I think he dropped it for an Eviscerate or something. Mostly because you don't really need to go infinite with like tests or anything like that, because there's not a lot of warriors and there's not a lot of games where you're going into fatigue or anything like that. But check his Twitter for updates. He's always posting, the best version versions of rogue decks. But I love this list. Quest is so easy to complete through Clever Disguise and Pilfer, Blink Fox and Burglar. It just always seems to curve out beautifully, get you that weapon completed by around turn 5 at least. And then it's just a lot of fun with all the variance that goes into it. It's a controlled amount of variance where the deck feels good. Sometimes you're gonna get some stupid random cards that you don't really need, or sometimes you want big bodies for your tests, but you just get these terrible spells. But in general, it's surprising how consistent this deck is, considering that you know it's based around randomness from your opponent's class and all that. But I love this list. If you like Rogue and you think Rogue's not doing well, try this out. It's gonna change your mind. All right, for Warlock, it's pretty much just Lackey Zoolock. I mean, I've been having a lot of fun with like Mechathune Quest Warlock, and actually today I was playing a Darkest Hour Warlock, but this is the most promising list. It's running Tikan, and I think there's a lot of other zoo lists out there that aren't Tikan based. What I don't like about Tikan based decks is that there's only one Tikan in your deck, so it's a little bit inconsistent. Like if you end up finding it early or on curve, you're gonna just blow your opponent out of the water. But if he's, you know, bottom 5, bottom 10, it might be a little bit rough. But once you do find Tikan, your lackeys are insane. You know, you got the Sinister Deal, you got the Cable Rats, you got the Evil Genius, and 1 mana 4/4s are so swingy. They're so good, and they can take a ride on that carpet and just, you know, slap some things around. So if you miss playing Zoo, try this out. This deck will probably always be pretty good. There's always a Zoo Warlock out there that's doing all right. Even with the meta shakeup, I'm thinking this is probably gonna be okay, but don't quote me. Yeah, so Mage kind of got wrecked, right? It used to be like the best list. There was so much Highlander. It was more popular than Quest, Shaman, and the hit to Conjure's Calling and Luna's Pocket Galaxy, more importantly, I think, has really just made people stop playing it. Pocket Galaxy at 5 felt a bit toxic, so it being at 7 it maybe was necessary. I don't know, at 6 mana maybe it would have been all right, but I don't, they destroyed it. Nobody's playing this thing but Board Control, and Board Control is doing actually pretty great with it, so I guess it's not that bad. And it's also a really expensive list, so I guess if you already made the cards before it got nerfed, you could still play it and it'll do all right, but by no means do you want to craft this thing right now in the current meta. I mean, of course you could still get those few nutty games where you get Pocket Galaxy out early for some reason, and then you just top deck, I don't know, Antonitis or Caligos or something, and you're gonna have a really good time during those games. But a lot of times you just can't afford to play Pocket Galaxy on turn 7 or even on turn 6 because you're just gonna die if you try and do that. So once again, hopefully with the wild shakeup, things will look better for Mage, but for right now, I don't really see a reason to play Mage at all. So that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit the thumbs up. Thank you so much to PlayVig for sponsoring this. And once again, remember that there is a patch coming up and you might not want to craft anything. By the time this video comes out, we might actually know the release date of the patch, but as of right now, it's not known. And if you're kind of bored of the meta, remember the patch is going to shake up a lot of things. Like, these are really strong cards, and I'm pretty excited. I hope you guys are too. Don't forget to follow my Twitch if you aren't yet. Good luck on ladder and stay hydrated.